Right, so here we are in Dis with Carrie Kohan. I'm Joseph Gregory Hallett, and it is Saturday, the 12th of August 2023. I've got a very lightweight tripod, so it's going to move a bit, and that's just part of the entertainment, free of charge.
It's not a drunk cameraman.
There is no cameraman that we can blame. Yeah, we're going to be talking about lots of stuff. We've just been chatting for about a couple of hours now, and a couple of hours a few nights ago, and we really should have got all that on film.
I know.
I've structured some stuff which is really boring. Well, actually not boring. It's a good basis of what we perceive from our experience to be the Charlie Ward fraud and David Mahoney phony. That's really where it is. That's my experience. And then Carrie Kohan's got a similar experience. And then I've had other people closely associated with their team contacting me with their experience, and it's all getting a bit weird. Like the whole Mahoney Charlie Ward thing has been a counterintelligence operation, and we've been in the middle of it as the targeted individuals.
Oh, absolutely. It was kind of funny because I don't know if you remember, but you kind of dissed me.
Well, I couldn't trust anyone, and I actually ghosted everyone for like 2.5 years because I was so disappointed. And for me, it was so obvious that they were running a counterintelligence operation. And then it's only now, since I finished my 13 books, that I've had time to cognize it and write it down. And when I put it down onto charts, which look like this, and also another one like this, second one, and there's another couple to come. It was only then that I realized, these are ongoing frauds in progress that are really about demoting the truth and attacking anyone telling the truth and promoting people telling lies, which is Ward and Mahoney. And you've watched them now for 3 years without me, and you've got to see that they've actually offered you nothing, and they've ripped you off with fake coin currencies and absolutely fake stories and just a big bunch of lies. So I ended up with absolutely nothing out of it, and destroyed name by association with them. And it's basically a counterintelligence criminal empire that they're running, and they're covering up their previous crimes. They're all catch and release, which is when they've done a crime and they've been convicted of the crime and they're like banned from North America, as Mahoney is, and they've done real estate frauds and drug trafficking, and they're getting promoted by counterintelligence.
So I want to tell you my story of how I ended up meeting Dave Mahoney and Charlie Ward and all of those guys. And it's kind of funny because when I phoned you or texted you the other day, I was like, wow, I'm so excited to know that you're not one of them, because I was actually questioning the same thing. I remember thinking, I don't know about, Greg Hallett, because it's by association, right? And my experience was not so great. So I'll go back a little ways, back to, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was the one that found the cave long after you had left. You left in 2014, 2015,
214,
something like that. And so I'm a Canadian, and all of a sudden I find myself in Portugal, and I'm sitting up. It was like midnight one night, and I kept hearing spirit. I'm a psychic, right? I'm Aboriginal, so Métis, Ojibwe, and Cree. Anyways, so I've had communication with spirit since I was little.
Hang on, excuse me, but I'm just going to have to, the hair's covering that.
Okay, watch yourself there, buddy.
There you go, that's better.
Okay.
Clean hands and equity.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, gotta watch this guy, right? No.
Well, you do actually.
Yeah.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, okay. So, anyways, it was 12 o'clock at night, and I kept hearing spirits say, "Find the cave, Carrie, find the cave." And I had just seen a video of Greg, and he said that the cave was, close to the Spanish border. And so I pull out Google Earth and I look at it, and I'm looking and looking, and for a couple of hours, and finally I gave up. I was like, I can't find it. And Spirit said, just use your intuition, use your gift. And so that's what I did. And 2 strokes of Google Earth there it was. Found it. Well, I was so damn excited. I woke up my partner and I said, "My God, I found the cave!" So, anyways, I couldn't go to the cave for 3 days because of legal battle, and in that 3 day period, I had this guy show up. His name was Adele, and he showed up from Libya, I think it was, and ex-military. I met him in the grocery store. He said he was kind of homeless. It was COVID. It was just coming out of lockdown, and it was June 2020. And so I said, "Well, geez, I've got 4 villas in Portugal. I've got lots of space right now. Where are you renting?" And he goes, "I have to leave there right now, so I'm kind of homeless." Anyways, long story short, I gave him a place to live. Well, I'm leaving in the morning to go and find the cave, and he comes along and says, "Hey, what you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to go find a cave." And he goes, "Hey, I love that. Do you mind if I come along?" So he comes along, and we find the cave, not a problem, and it's a drop. You have to go way down, and I made it down, not a problem, and he did, of course. He's ex-military. And so while we were there, he really wasn't, he was so excited. He was like lifting up the Persian rugs that were at the site. You left Persian rugs behind, Yeah. And he had one monstrous Persian rug and one smaller. It was like, one was at the foyer of the cave, and then the smaller one was inside, right? Yeah. So anyways, we saw King carved in the sandstone, and it was like, yes, we found the cave. It was so exciting. So we got some pictures of that. And anyways, he started digging right away. He was like, "I think that there's something buried here. I think," and so he's, going into the sandstone and stuff. He said, "Yeah, I have the same feeling." And so as I'm gathering up, I hear very clearly that, I gotta take care of this stuff, and be the caretaker of it. So roll up it was in pieces, but the Persian rugs, and roll those up, and then took a big boulder, and it turns out it's one of the boulders from your weightlifting thing, and found the stick. But in the cave itself, it was completely filled with 4x4 big chunks of pieces of wood, because they were building a thing above it, and so they used the excess wood, and whoever did it put in all of these big pieces of wood, right? So anyways, he helps me. We're taking out the wood, and my former husband was with us as well, and so we're unburying the cave, and in the cave is this big piece of wood with green netting on both sides, really thick green netting. Yeah, that you used to use, for bodybuilding.
Yeah, weightlifting.
Yeah, weightlifting. And then there were 2 sandals, old sandals, and I lifted up the sandal, and there was a piece of paper in it. It looked like paper towel that had been wet, and have you ever seen paper towel that's wet and dried, and then it's stuck together completely? So anyways, I put those into, I hate to say, a garbage bag. Sorry. And so I put those in the garbage bag, and it's a hike up, so had to
4 meters. It's flat, and then there's a 4-meter cliff.
Yeah, it's a long ways. So anyways, we took the terrible way up.
No, it's got a 70-foot drop on one side, man.
Right.
I don't do that one. It's too scary.
It's freaking scary.
Yeah,
and
really
so
scary.
The night before we were leaving for this, I actually saw that the military guy was going to come with us, but I saw in my image that he pushed my former husband off that cliff that way up. And so I knew that he was going up. I had to be in between them. I had to make sure that he was still safe, my former husband. And so anyways, the military guy, he's got the rugs, and we've got the rest of the stuff. And we're looking down, and it's narrow. Like
it is. It's literally that narrow.
Yeah, it's probably about that. Yeah.
And it's like that steep.
Oh no, it's more.
in
Yeah,
places.
it's
Okay,
like-
okay, yeah. And it's
It's scary.
it's really gritty. It's slippery.
Yeah.
It's slippery, gritty when
well,
it's dry.
at some points it gets really narrow. Like you actually have to.
It's actually drawn on the Rosicrucian cosmography, right?
Yeah,
But,
that's
yeah.
the edge, right?
Yeah, so I looked at that and I went, that's too hard. And then I found a 4 meter vertical drop, and I cut steps into this 4 meter
That was
vertical
you.
drop, and I stepped down there.
because That was great. There was little steps and handholds.
Yeah, I did that.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
You
anyways,
took the scary way in.
well, no, I did the good way down. You know, the
Vertical.
40 meter. But on the way back, the military guy led us up, and he goes, "Oh, come this way. It's easier."
Yeah.
He was like a mountain goat. He just went up, and we're knees knocking. We get up to the top, and the military guy's on the phone, and he's talking on the phone, and he's pacing, and he was talking to someone.
Wow.
So anyways, he disappears right after that. He moves out. He says, "Oh, I'm back to Libya. Thanks so much. Off now." So I'm thinking, damn, he knows where the cave is. And so anyways, a couple days go by, and I get a feeling. I watch another video of Dave Mahoney or whatever his name is now.
David George O'Mahony.
There you go. And he was talking about you. And so, long story short, I get a vision that Dave is coming, to the cave. And so I get a hold of him. And I phoned Charlie Ward because I had been friends with Charlie. I'd been on a show a couple of times, and he seemed like a nice guy. And so, anyways, woo!
Oh!
That was a big catch.
Time to get the gaffer.
Yeah. And that's okay. So I get a hold of Charlie Ward, and Charlie Ward gives me Dave Mahoney's number. I phone Dave Mahoney, and he says, I don't think we're coming out in any near future to the cave. You know where the cave is? And I said, yeah, it was just there. And he goes, you know the coordinates? And I was thinking, well, wouldn't Greg know the coordinates? Like, you guys are such good friends. I would think that Greg would have told you where the cave is. And I said, yeah, of course. I can send them to you now if you want. And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, I think you're going to be here in 3 days. So a couple of minutes later, phone rings. Dave Mahoney's phoning up and saying, I'll see you in 3 days. So he, Lee Dawson, bodybuilder Lee, who I liked actually. I don't know if you know much about Lee Dawson, the bodybuilder one.
I've met him.
Yeah.
Met him over 4 days, and that's it.
Because he seemed nice enough actually. He was actually decent compared to the rest. And then Dave Vickers, the videographer, he comes out. So the three of them come, and I say, you can stay in my villa next door for the couple of days. I coordinated everything, and because my background was film, so I hired the production company, the drones, the units.
Oh, you did that.
Oh,
That was the best footage. That was good.
Yeah. Got it all coordinated, right? And so the agreement was that they would give me a production manager's credit and, for IMDb, and that never happened. But, oh well. So anyways, it was a lot of work, and I got it all tickety-boo. The next day we went out to the cave, and they asked me to sit underneath the boardwalk. And so they pretended that they had just been out and found the cave. And I was like, what are they doing over there? They're talking, and they've got the drone above, and I'm hiding underneath a boardwalk. And I thought, there's something not right here.
Oh, so you couldn't be seen by the...
Couldn't be seen by the drone,
really? I know where you
right?
are. Yeah.
So anyways, they then come down, and they're looking down, and they went, you went down there? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They didn't want to go down.
Yeah, Lee Dawson was shitting himself.
Yeah. So anyways, I showed them the way. I led them the way. And it was funny because in the video they were like, we had to take Carrie. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was like a mountain goat going down there now. I've done it about 3 or 4 times. I know the route really well. And so anyways, down we go. We get to the cave. Now it's the fun part. So they were really excited. The king, carved, and they got lots of pictures, and all of a sudden Dave Mahoney starts to dig, and they pull out one of my shovels that I had brought, and they start digging, and I said, "Hey, Dave, what are you digging for?" And every time I ask him, I get this vision of that dried up white piece of paper, like paper towel that I had found last time I was there. And he goes, "Oh, nothing, nothing, you know." And I was like, "Okay." And so they're still digging. They can't find whatever they're looking for. And every time I asked, like I said, this image would pop in, and it was that white piece of paper. So I was excited because, oh, I forgot about this. So I turned around just then, and I was thinking, he's not telling me, he's not being upfront. That's interesting. So just then, I looked down, and there's this piece of the same paper, and it's just right down in front of me on the entrance of the cave. And I picked it up, and I kind of bent the paper and looked inside, and there was ink, and there was a Regal stamp. I was like, holy, you know, I swore. And I got so excited, I was just about to go, guess what? And I heard Spirit go, don't say anything. Put it in your backpack right now. And I was like, okay. I've learned over the years, I listen, right? And so I put that piece of paper into the backpack. And I could hardly wait to get home. I wanted to see what that thing was, right?
Yeah.
And so I got home. They were going out for dinner or something. And so I drove home, and I pulled out from that garbage bag the 2 sandals and the piece that I had found prior. So now there were 2 pieces and some little ones. You know, one of them had like a, you know, candle wax on it. Yeah. So, anyways,
I had one rolled up with a seal on it, sealed with candle wax, stuffed inside a bottle.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Well,
so-
we'll get to that part because this is actually really interesting. Part of it is that someone played with that piece of paper. So I've never steamed anything open before, and I didn't really know how to do it, but I got a pot, and because it was so hard and crusty that if I started to open it, it was not going to open. Just then, Dave Mahoney and the other 2, they pull it in, and they go to their villa. And so I put everything down, and I go next door.
It's the Cold War, steaming open secrets.
I felt like it was, you know, it was like Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah.
Found the cave. Anyways, so I go over, and I'm excited to tell them. I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to tell them. And so Dave Mahoney's on the phone to his daughter, and he doesn't want to chat right now. He's like, just a second. And so I go in and speak to Dave Vickers. And Dave Vickers is the producer, photographer, all of that. He and I didn't get along. So so I say to Dave Vickers that, you know, I think I have what you guys were looking for. You were looking to unbury a piece of paper, right? And he goes, yeah. He's shocked. And I said, I think I have it. And he goes, how the F did you get that? And I said, well, when I went the very first time, it was actually in between some sandals. And he was like, fuck, you know, he was just livid. And he storms out of the villa. It's a beautiful summer's day. He storms out, and Dave Mahoney's going, I'll call you back, honey. Like, what the heck's going on? And I said, okay, I'm going to go and get it. And so as I have to walk around the branches and bushes and stuff, and out the driveway to my villa, and they're on the other side of these bushes, and I can hear, as I'm walking around, I can hear Dave Vickers, and he's like, she fucking has it. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that, but I'm just repeating his words, right?
Not my words.
No, not your words. Yeah, Dave Vickers' words. And he's like, she effing has it. And Dave Mahoney's like, no. And so I bring one of the pieces, the biggest piece, with me, and I said, yeah, this is it. And, you know, the seals were on the top, right? And so anyways, Dave Mahoney grabs it, and he starts trying to bend it. I was like, no, you don't do that, because you'll crack it, it'll break. And he goes, yeah, that's what we're looking for. So anyways, they're having beers, we're sitting down now, and he goes, I don't know what we're going to do. And I said, what do you mean? And I said, he goes, well, this is not right. This is not right at all, Carrie. this won't do at all. You know, you're going to have to lie. Or actually, he didn't say you're going to have to lie. Not yet. He goes, you're going to have to tell a different story. You're going to have to say that what we're going to do is we're going to put that piece of paper into a bottle, a wine bottle, because that's what's supposed to be out there. And then we're going to bury it, and we're going to fake this. And then,
Really?
yeah, oh yeah.
Wow, this is new to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't told you any of this.
No.
And this was a plan, right? And his plan. And so he says, and then we're going to bury it, and then we're going to film it, and we'll then open it up and go, whoa, look what we found! We found gold. And I said, I kind of paused and I looked at not Lee Hemington, that's funny.
Lee Dawson.
Lee Dawson. So Lee Dawson's to my right. It's a rectangular table. Lee's there, Dave Mahoney's across, and Dave Vickers is here. And I said, so you're asking me to lie? And both Vickers and Mahoney say at the same time, yes. And I was like, yeah, that ain't going to happen. Sorry, guys. And they got so aggressive. They really got aggressive. And Dave Mahoney slammed his fist on the table. He was like, this has to happen, because why are we here? This is just, effed. And they were starting again. And it got really tense. And I said, think of it this way, Dave Mahoney, not Vickers. Think of it this way, Dave, is that this story is really interesting, because don't you think it's an interesting story that a psychic hears a spirit that says, find the cave, find the cave, find the cave. She goes and finds the cave. She finds the paper. It's buried elsewhere. Yes, it was supposed to be in a bottle, you say, but now it's buried somewhere else. This is a mystery. How did it get there? This is really exciting. They were like, no, that's not, we came here to find that, and that's how it's going to be. And I looked over at Lee Dawson, and Lee, this was really intense for about 15 minutes, I'd say. And I was starting to get a little scared. I thought, I don't know these guys, and I don't know the value of that piece of paper, what they're willing to do to have that piece of paper, because, this is the king's deed of entitlement. This is the paper that proves that you are what? What is the use of it?
Well, there's a discrepancy between the Portuguese Navy and the Portuguese municipals, which is like the councils. And that's the first 15 metres inland from the shoreline, and my cave was in that first 15 metres. So there's a dispute of ownership between the Portuguese Navy and the municipalities. And I have the royal mark of the Prince Regent Duke Governor of the Ports of the Algarve. So I had both sides of that printed on the deed, and I was claiming the cave and the 60 by 35 metre proper around the cave as my own.
So this was a deed of entitlement, and, of the would-be king. Before we go into part 2, Greg and I would like to say, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click in the description below, and you'll find the link for our Patreon account. So we'd really enjoy your support. And also, you're going to get a lot of videos there that you won't find anywhere else.